Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. That's right, the video game show that is not hosted by an annoying clickbaiter. We only talk about video games, the business of video games, and cover topics that mainstream YouTubers don't cover. Now, with that said, do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and now let's get ready for the show. On today's episode... Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Today I wanted to do something different, stretch out my creative brain here a little bit with the help of AI. And as you can hear my voice, it's not doing too well still. However, this is one of those situations where I can't use the AI to help me out for narration, just because it has some pronunciation challenges, believe it or not. Even more than I do with my ESL education. But I wanted to get into this. You know, I'm a real big fan of the Street Fighter series, and one of the things that has always bothered me about Street Fighter that they never went back and honored a lot of the inspirations that they had in making the game. One of these inspirations is actually Charles Bronson, a Charles Bronson movie called Hard Times. Movies were a big influence on Street Fighter and pop culture, as you know. But actually, two of the stages are actually taken straight from the movie Hard Times, and I'll show the panels here. You can see how the warehouse scene was inspired by the movie, and you can see how the boat scene was inspired by the movie. It looks like, you know, just straight up ripped out of the movie, right? Real good at inspirations, and they, you know, when you think about those scenes, you think about Street Fighter, you never think about the actual movie. And not many people of this generation even know about the movie. You know, this was back in 1975. Charles Bronson was a big movie star, you know, in the 70s and 80s. You know, and based on that, I thought to myself, you know, why did they never ever go back, you know, in the other games, whether it was Street Fighter Zero or anything like that, and never acknowledge or page an homage to the movie in some sort of way, right? And try to link those stories, you know, or, you know, even when the game was out, you know, and other games were coming out, I remember, you know, just talking with people, you just nerd out, you know, talking about Street Fighter and stuff, and, you know, getting into the backstories of each stage, like why are they there, you know, that type of stuff, right? So anyway, I started thinking a few days ago is like, what if there was a story regarding, you know, Charles Bronson's character and how it interweaved into this, right? Now, with the help of Grammarly and AI, I've been able to put this story together. It's a real quick story, guys. They're my ideas. Of course, AI helps with the grammar and writing because I don't want to write it in a manner where you guys are not going to understand it. But the basic storyline is mine and what I came up with, right? And it's just a piece of entertainment. I mean, no way a writer, in no way an artist or anything like that. Whenever you use AI, it's really just a tool. You're playing karaoke of whatever profession you're trying to do, whether it's, you know, writing or you know, any other endeavor with, you know, painting or anything like that. So I'm in no way pretending that I'm a professional of anything, but I did think it was something that was to share with you guys and what I thought when I thought about this movie. And if you've never seen the movie, if you never looked it up, you know, go ahead. You know, and it's a story of Charles Bronson fighting, basically, you know, and that's where they took inspiration for these two stages from, and of course the fighting aspect. So I'm gonna drink a little bit here. Now, you might be thinking this is a little bit of a stretch. How can, you know, two scenes make up all these connections and what have you? But let me tell you what. Here's the missing link that I haven't told you yet. Hard Times, when it came out in Japan, they translated the name of the movie as Street Fighter. Hard Times, a Street Fighter origin story. In the heart of Metro City's urban sprawl, a legend known as Cheney to the world. He was a mysterious figure, but to his friends he was simply Hard Times Cheney, a name whispered with respect and reverence in the underground bare-knuckle street fighting circuit. Yet for the fighters who faced him in bare-knuckle fighting, their lives often spiraled into hard times afterwards. His reputation preceded him, a phantom of the streets, whose presence was felt in the city's pulse. Cheney was both feared and admired, a symbol of resilience and a master of a gritty craft. Yes, the gritty craft of bare-knuckle street fighting. The Crucible, an underground tournament that drew fighters seeking glory and validation from near and far, became the stage where Cheney's legend grew. He was undefeated, and as the king he would be the final fighter of the tournament. He would be the last one you faced. Each opponent who dare face him emerged either broken, transformed, but their lives for sure forever would be altered by the encounter with this elusive fighter. Cheney's enigmatic persona was shrouded in stories, each weaving a tale of triumphs and challenges. Among those who orbited this world was Shen Long, a seasoned warrior, mysterious by nature, whose path intersected with Cheney's in the crucible of combat. The legend of Shenlong's power and wisdom echoed from across the sea, from the far Orient, and became whispers in the city, a force that had carved its own legacy in the annals of street fighting in other countries. The fateful showdown between Shenlong and Cheney was inevitable. A collision of titans awaited for those who fought the true essence of street combat. In the pulsating heart of the crucible, the air crackled with anticipation as the two warriors faced off. Their battle unfolded with the intensity of legends in the making. Cheney, using his fists like thunder, seemed to be getting the better of Shenlong, punch by punch, every punch doing more and more damage. Shenlong had never faced a fighter like this, but drawing upon raw power that echoed of the stories of his opponent's downfall, Shenlong prepared something no one had ever seen. As the fight was reaching its peak, Shenlong, recognizing the depth of Cheney's mastery of his bare-knuckle fist fighting technique, unleashed a Hadoken, a surge of energy that stunned the seasoned fighter. This had never been seen in the Crucible or in the bare-knuckle fighting scene. Cheney was momentarily knocked down, stunned by the unimaginable power. At the moment, he was stunned and thought for a minute, and all of a sudden he did something no one expected. He took a knee as a gesture of respect, something he felt compelled to offer to his opponent. In that moment of humility and acknowledgement, Shenlong, understanding the significance of this encounter, bowed to Cheney, recognizing the unparalleled strength of his opponent's fist. This was the closest he had ever been to being defeated by a foe who did not possess such power. This unexpected show of respect and humility resonated deeply within Cheney. It was a mark of mutual recognition by the two legendary fighters. It was then that Cheney, in a gesture that surprised onlookers, handed Shenlong his gloves, symbols of his techniques and experience. That's right. These were the training gloves he used. He trained by hitting metal, diamonds, rocks, things that were more solid than any human jaw. That is why when he faced his opponents chins and bones seemed to be made out of clay. As he handed these training gloves, he said to Shenlong, "All I ask is that you carry the weight of the unspoken word in wisdom. And once you have mastered these techniques, pass them on to your best student." At this moment, a young teenager was observing this exchange with awe and reverence. Bowed in that moment in silence, he promised himself to carry forward this legacy and become that student. His name was Ryu, a name that would soon carve its own chapter in the legends of street fighting. The tale of Cheney and Shenlong's encounter and the Crucible became an integral part of Metro City's lore, a story of mutual respect and the passing of knowledge from one generation of fighters to the next. It was at that moment not only it marked the culmination of a battle, but the birth of a legacy that would continue to echo through the alleys and arenas of the city, forever entwining the fates of all its fighters. All right, guys, that was what I came up with. And I try to make it, like those little booklets they used to give you in video games at some point, or, in a graphic magazine as an introduction to the lore of a particular game. I always wanted them to go back and maybe make a game that was more basic, sort of learn techniques like they're doing now in Street Fighter 6. But in the 2D realm, where we had to, maybe fight basic fights and earn these techniques by defeating fighters. That was what this was. This was really just an amalgamations of stories and stuff that we would tell ourselves because we were obsessed with Shenlong back in the day, right? We wanted to fight him. We knew he was in the game. But most of all, I always wanted Street Fighter to pay tribute to this movie that was so influential to the game. And I really wish they would have developed a story back in the day that was more basic and either go back and fix Street Fighter 1, or do something like that. But this is just my tribute, guys. This is just a fan fanning over Street Fighter and putting my thoughts, on this video. What do you guys think? What were some of the fighters you would have liked to see come back from Street Fighter 1? Or are there any, stories that you feel that are untold? This was my tribute to Street Fighter and, of course, to the movie Hard Times. That was a great influence on that game. Guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
Did you subscribe? Did you hit the like button? What the hell are you waiting for?